Lock us in, load us in, pop in that 8-track, spin the tape. Here we go. Hey now everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show. That's right, Matt and Nick are back, and we even have Pete the Cat tonight, riding along shotgun with me. You know, he may die this year, you never know. He's looking rough. He's approaching Palpatine level. That's Return of the Jedi Palpatine level. But, you know, we hope he can tick along for a little bit more. Anyways, Nick and I are back to talk about all things new in the Star Wars universe, and boy oh boy do we have a lot to discuss. I mean, we've got new collectibles to talk about, new comic book series to talk about, some video game news to talk about, shitty video game news at that, some fan film news, and just still I don't know if it's the misunderstanding of some Star Wars fans or the uneducation of Star Wars fans, but a pretty interesting movement kind of went down this week. And then as we've been doing the last few Star Wars Time shows, is we save our episode 9 stuff for the end. And we have two things to talk about. Kind of light things, but things that I think Nick and I can kind of riff on for a little bit. So all right, buddy, let's get down to it. You kind of covered this first one, and that was the announcement that we're going to get a series of comic books from Marvel set in the original trilogy era, framed under the title of Star Wars Age of Rebellion.
Yeah, so the Star Wars Age of the Rebellion comic series is pretty interesting looking. What it does is takes these iconic characters from the period of time of the rebellion against the Empire and breaks them out into individual comics and gives you threads that kind of fill in these gaps in the timelines. For example, we have a Princess Leia comic that's going to be releasing in April, and the Princess Leia comic is taking place right after Empire Strikes Back and covers her time from the moment that Han is captured and she starts to formulate the plan to save him up until she takes on the persona of the bounty hunter known as Bausch. So you have these stories that we haven't seen before in any sort of established canon getting fleshed out in these pretty cool comic threads. And it's not for just, characters like Han or Leia or anybody like that. We also have Grand Moff Tarkin. We have Vader. We have a special run called Age of the Rebellion Special Editions where you're talking about characters like Grandmaster Yoda, Jack Porkins,
yeah!
Big Starklighter. Like,
I was hoping you'd say that. I mean, I just looked and I was like, that's got to be that fat ass motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, if you look at if you're following along for the post.
Are you saying that's Porkins and Biggs, right?
Yeah, in the back. If you look at the very back.
And then Homeboy, I mean, you didn't even mention who's in front.
Yeah, you got Grandmaster Yoda and then you got IG-88.
What the fuck's Yoda doing here?
I mean, there's a lot of good characters that are going to be covered in these comic threads, especially these special edition ones.
Dude, I mean, that cover's insane because, it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. You
literally have a cover with Yoda with a lightsaber. Biggs,
old Yoda,
Porkins, and IG-88. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, it seems like the special edition is just gonna get crazy because it's like individual stories that are chopped up into different sections and like.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good call. So you're thinking they're just kind of. Even though it looks like they're all in the same location, the way they're edited together, you think it might just be like Yoda's cut from his own little story and the pilots from their story and IG from his.
I think that it's going to be like that, but I could be wrong. So this is the tagline that they put on the special. So it says, will feature stories from 4 players in the Age of the Rebellion: infamous bounty hunter IG-88, Grandmaster Yoda, Biggs Darklighter, and Jack Porkins. So
there you go. Then so yeah, it probably is then.
Yeah,
but that cover's pretty freaking misleading, and obviously we'll link to the post in the housing post of this podcast episode for those of you that want to follow along. StarWarsTime.net.
So yeah, I mean, if we look at everything else up here, so we have the 4 covers that were released already, but they also announced a ton of other books that are going to be releasing in this series. So you have a Han Solo specific one, Boba Fett, Lando Calrissian, Jabba the Hutt, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Oh my God.
I mean, these are major players. These are the players in the Star Wars galaxy in the original trilogy timeline. So if you're one of those lore hounds like Matt and I are, and you're kind of chomping at the bit
well, you know
for
what,
more
Nick?
OT stuff.
I'm gonna call us both out. I'm gonna call us out. You know, we claim to be lore hounds, and we are to a certain extent. But we have both severely ignored these new comics.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty good.
I'm calling
on
us
a lot of
both
the
out
other
right
things.
now. I'm calling us out onto the floor. I mean, we deserve a caning.
Yeah.
Because I know they're good. Because, I mean, when it was first rebooted in whatever year, I mean, digitally at least, I don't buy physical comics. I know that's blasphemous to some of you, but it's easier to carry, 60 comics on an iPad than in a stack. Even though I love collecting stuff, I'm not hating. I'm just saying. They're damn good. They are damn good. And I'm even maybe the first book into the Vader series, in terms of collection. They usually do, like, when 6 come out, they'll offer it as a collection. Into the most recent Vader run, and I read the original Vader run. This shit's fantastic, but for some reason, and I know what it is, it's just I'm so overextended with real life, Star Wars time life now, entertainment Buddha life, dad life, toy photography life. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But I am bummed that I'm not in the know, up and current with these comics, because I know how good they are.
And I feel the same way about the novels as well. So like old EU,
oh my God, we're the worst. We should just delete the fucking website now.
It's so much content to keep up with, and this is all thanks to Disney. I mean, Disney bought Star Wars.
No, but dude, Disney sucks. Disney's ruining Star Wars.
It is. There's all these women in it now. And,
how dare they do all this stuff? How dare they provide all this new content?
And it's all good too. Everything I've read so far, everything I've seen so far, I've loved. I mean, I'm reading the Thrawn books now, and they're really enjoyable. I'm just a lazy fuck, and I can't, I just haven't finished them yet. Like, I know that they're good. I know the content is good, and just for some reason, I'm like, it's just such a task to read. Like, that's just my mindset now.
I've been told that if I'm serious about the books, that I could just get the audio versions.
Yeah,
but even there, I'm like, no, because the only time I want to listen to someone talking to me is in the car, and I am a sports talk addict. I mean, I need my Howard Stern and my sports talk. I live for it. I live for it.
I hear you. Because I do the same thing.
Dude, sports talk, movies, video games, those are my hobbies, my entertainment, whatever you want to call them.
But right. Star Wars is supposed to be the passion.
Oh, of course.
But here's the thing. I've never tried a book on tape, but I hear that they're pretty good.
Dude,
I'm all about podcasts.
Dude, think about it. It's got to be magical. It's got to be magical. Someone is fucking doing the hard part for you.
Yeah,
You just have
I'm all
to
about
listen.
podcasts, so I can do it. I can
Right.
do it because I listen to a 3-hour long podcast like nothing.
I
Like you
know.
said, I'm in the car.
Dude,
I just throw it on.
I'm with you. I'm just as bad. We really suck with anything written Star Wars. I mean, we're essentially cavemen.
Yeah, if it's not flashing
Right.
pictures in front of my face,
If it's not moving images, we're like, bah.
it's just, and I don't know. When I was younger, I read so much of the old EU. I had stacks of novels. I probably had a stack of at least 30 Star Wars books from the old EU.
I've always been a troglodyte.
And
I know. See, this is why I truly think this is our. And again, not that we're like 20 years apart, but I do think this is one of our generational differences. Is that a lot of those EU books didn't exist when I was young.
Yeah.
They didn't really kick off until the early 90s, right? I don't think the Zahn series kicked off until maybe 90 at the earliest.
Yeah, I know that they had the first book
like
was
Truce of Bakure, right?
Yeah, I'm looking that one up right now if you guys hear the typing.
89
93.
Oh, see? So even
93.
later than I thought. I mean,
and that was the first one. That was the first book that was ever written for the original
right.
EU.
So you gotta remember that little Matt would have been 13. What do you think he was concerned about?
Little Matt had his his head in other types of reading material.
No. Yeah, it was called "How Can I See a Naked Girl?"
Yeah.
I don't care if it's in print form, real life, whatever. Will a girl let me touch her? Can I touch her bum? Whatever. I mean, let's be real, guys. I mean that's even it doesn't matter if you're 13 or 80. That's pretty much still your main drive if you're a heterosexual male. And if you're the other, have at it. I mean, you just you like the same sex. I mean, go for it. Yeah. But I mean to tie it all back. I mean, in '93, I wasn't worried about reading Expanded Universe. I was also, I think in '94 is when they announced that the prequels are coming around. So that's what I was worried about. I was like, hell yeah. I'm about to see this go down, and we know what happened. I mean, whatever, but yeah, I mean, I think that's why I never really got into the EU outside of the video game aspect.
You know what I need for comic books? Like, I'm a subscription fanatic now. Like, if you give me a subscription model on something,
oh, dude, Marvel does it. You can literally buy Marvel Unlimited and get all their comics for a yearly fee.
How much is it? I may think
dude,
about that.
I mean, dude, I wish I knew you were interested because over the holidays, I think they were running a special for like $50 for a year.
Oh,
I mean, $50 for like their entire historical library and I believe new runs.
Yeah, I have to look into it because that's the thing is comic books to me. What's so intimidating is that it's a super involved hobby and it's an expensive hobby.
It's monthly, and I know at least digitally, and I believe it is print too. I mean, you're talking anywhere from $4 to $5 an issue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, that's why I wait, because at least in digital form, they'll be like, okay, we consider this wave 1 of this run, 1 through 6. Now you can buy it as a bundle for $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, great. So I mean that's one reason I get behind, but I mean the other is mostly what we were just talking about. I'm so scattered, and it's just a medium to me that isn't something I look to for my Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. We have so much out there now, and we're going to get to a lot of it within this cast. Like, we have video games, whether it be mobile or AAA.
We haven't even made it to the next fucking comic book.
Yeah. We're just talking about one fucking comic run here.
And guess what? There's another one coming, people.
Yeah, hit him with the next one, Matt, because you're the one who dug this one up. So tell us about the next comic run.
Right. So I mean, again, this is coming from Marvel, and it's gonna follow a TIE Fighter squadron. Essentially, they're calling it Star Wars TIE Fighter. So it's going to be new, just a mini series coming from Marvel. And they also dropped news about, I guess this would also be a TIE no, is it? No.
No, it says X-Wing
It's
Fighter
an
Squadron.
X-Wing Squadron, the Alphabet Squadron. That a new book's coming out from Del Rey. So I mean, just minor details at this point, people, and obviously we'll try to link to the post so you can follow along. The thing that initially drew me to this was the cover art, Nick, for Star Wars TIE Fighter. I mean, there's really no information about the series outside it's coming. Outside of, it's an elite squadron of TIE pilots known as Shadow Wing, and it's going to take place post Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Correct. But that's it. So, like I said, the thing that initially drew me to the story in the first place was the cover art.
The cover art of this looks about as cool as any comic book cover art I've ever seen.
Dude, I want this as what's a movie poster dimension? Like a 46 by 36 or something like that? I don't know, whatever. I want a big ass version of this thing.
Yeah, the amount of detail that they put into this cover is incredible.
It's a work of art. It's a work of art.
Yeah, and we'll have the post linked in the podcast post, but you can see behind him if you look at the image, like it's an image of a TIE fighter pilot in his cockpit, and you can see the windows behind him, and behind him is just a massive battle going on.
Chaos.
You can see B-wings. You can see other TIE fighters.
Probably the most B-wings you've ever seen
in one place. Yeah, one window has like 3 B-wings in it, and then you can see all of this chaos going on, and then you look in his eyes, and you see the reflection of a TIE fighter in his eyes. I mean, it's just
an X-wing. It's his target. I mean,
X-wing.
You can literally see him eyeing up his target. I mean, it's literally, to me, more beautiful than the Mona Lisa.
It's fantastic, man. I would pay a pretty penny to have this framed, like you said, large scale framed, and keep it in a nice place in my home.
And quite frankly, I don't know what the fuck an Alphabet Squadron is, but that cover art is also pretty damn nice.
It's really the thing I like about this one is the coloring and the imagery that they use is really stark. So it's a lot of
and they have every fucking wing the Rebels ever had, right?
Yeah,
we have X,
U-wing,
U, B, A, and Y.
Yeah, so the full Alphabet Squadron. There we go. So
it all makes sense to me now. I just figured it out. I'm a fucking genius, dude.
There you are.
You didn't know that. You did not know that until I just pointed it out.
I didn't until I looked at the side and I was like, YABU.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
The
okay,
sad thing is, I'm
X's
being
right
serious. I just figured that out now, and it's like one of the most obvious things ever. if you look at the image, it's literally they even make the shape of a fucking A.
Yeah. Exactly. But yes, I mean,
Star
this
Wars
is so
time.
To bring these threads around. The point of it is that Star Wars content is not only had on TV screens like idiots like me and Matt.
God damn, those comic books are beautiful.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're in print. They're in game form on your phone, on your TV, on your computer. They're everywhere.
The franchise is alive and well, people.
Yeah. So go pick up some sort of Star Wars content right now. Download the Marvel Comics app. Get on Audible. Download the audiobook of the new Thrawn trilogy. Get on your phone. Download Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Let's get Star Wars content going.
And clearly, we're not getting paid for any of this shit because, I mean, who even knows if anyone's even listening?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't know if you're listening. If you are listening, let us know. But we just love doing this shit.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next
If
one.
you are listening, will you please subscribe to iTunes and leave some reviews and stuff, even if they're bad?
Tell us we suck. We'll get better.
We'll try.
Yeah.
You just give us some stars. I mean, even if you don't care either way, just give us some stars and say, yeah, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
It'll help. Trust me. It'll help us more than you know.
The cool thing is definitely, that's accurate. We all know. Let's be real here. All right, Matt.
So yeah,
next
up, this is definitely my territory, and it's a territory at this point in my life I wish I never came across, but it's something that's a part of me now, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to shake it in full, and that is my obsession for Funko Pops.
Yeah, you introduced me to these things basically
many years ago. Many years ago.
Yeah, I'd seen them, but I never really got into them. You were the one who really brought these into my existence.
It was really bad for a point in time. Like, I'm talking, I probably own over 700 Funko Pops.
That's an obsession.
That's a lot of money. A lot. And if you can hear it in my voice, it gives me great concern these days for what I did with Funko Pops. Point being, I still like them, at least if they're Star Wars Pops. I no longer collect all the other franchises I was, because it was out of control. It was out of control. I mean, I probably permanently fucked my daughter from ever having any sort of college fund because of them. I may have permanently fucked my own retirement because of these things. But
I mean, they'll mature in value, right? Like the Beanie Babies did.
Yeah. If there's enough idiots out there that are willing to buy these stupid things. But the point being, Nick, we got some new ones coming out, and I'm going to buy them. Because, like I said, I still subscribe to at least the Star Wars Funko Pops because of the power of the Star Wars license. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much anything Star Wars, if I think it looks cool, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna collect it.
You're gonna buy it, you're gonna collect it, and you're also gonna photograph it. And if you're on StarWarsTime.net, you can see some of these photographs on the right-hand column. But these new Pops, dude, I have to say, my favorite one is electrocuted Vader.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, if we want to like just talk about the buzz in the community, that definitely has become the holy hell. This may be one of the best Funko Pops of all time. The line's almost been around for 10 years now, because it first started in 2010. I have some of the original Star Wars Pops, and they are so basic. Like, you should see the original Vader. It is ridiculously basic. Like, yeah, it's literally just basically the shape of his helmet and the two little beady black eyes, and that was it. And now you have fucking electrocuted Vader.
Yeah, and his face is blue, and he's got blue lightning coming out of his chest.
Exactly. It's like the movie where it accentuates his skull almost as the lightning's flowing through it. And they even have, as Nick said, little lightning bolts popping off his chest. Obviously I can't wait to light these guys up. The only thing I kind of was questioning, and I don't know if you wondered yourself, I mean, I doubt you did because you're not really a collector, but when you have Electro Vader and fucking Lightning Palpatine, how the fuck do you not have Jedi Luke?
Yeah, I know, right?
Where the fuck is Jedi Luke?
I mean, if you look at all the players here, so let's do a quick rundown of the figures.
We already. I mean, I love Wicket. We already have a Wicket. This is definitely a more detailed Wicket. But if we're talking about one we could drop, where the fuck is Jedi Luke in his motherfucking black outfit?
Yeah.
What the
full
fuck
black
are we
ROTJ.
talking about? I mean, I would even argue he could be like almost downed Jedi Luke just to go with Electro Vader and fucking Lightning Palpatine. So you could literally recreate to me, and honestly, I think it should be for anyone if you're serious about Star Wars, the greatest moment in Star Wars history is Luke's redemption of his father. And you could recreate that in pop form if these assholes made Jedi Luke in wounded state.
It's a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer. Sign me up for a fucking pop designer. Luke in wounded state. That would be his name on the box. And we can make him a fucking exclusive like Funko likes to do. So people overpay for it.
Yeah, like a Walgreens exclusive
Exactly,
or whatever they do these days.
So bozos like me will pay $40 for a fucking $10 piece of shit.
But if you look at all of the things, all of the pops that are included here, we have Wicket, like you mentioned. You have Princess Leia that's wearing her Ewok
brand new,
ceremony
never
garb.
before. I mean, again, the Wicket is kind of a repeat, but the initial Wicket came out in the dark days of Pops where they were basic as fuck. So I appreciate it. I do love Wicket, especially because it's Wicket E. Warwick. As Nick said, Leia, and she's in her basically what I call the Ewok gown. Brand new, love it, fantastic. We've talked about Electro Vader. Who else we got, Nick? This is another great one, brand new.
We got Han Solo in his indoor gear.
Trench coat Solo.
Yeah. It looks cool as fuck, man. Like he looks like a badass.
For dumb little like chibi dolls, I mean, come on. These just look ace.
Yeah. This next one looks incredible. Like even down to the detail of the cowl, and that is Palpatine with lightning.
That little shitty face they put on him.
Yeah, like he's got the lightning coming out of his fingers. He's got the yellow eyes with the red around him. I mean, he looks badass.
Right, and we do, like, if you are a Star Wars pop collector, I mean, you're going, we do have I guess technically at that point in time, you would almost call him a Sidious pop, but it's essentially, Nick, the version of Sidious after Windu pruned his face.
Yep.
And he also has the lightning bolts coming out, but that he's in his like maroon robes doing that shit.
Okay.
But last but not least, honestly, my friend, outside of Vader, does it get any fucking better than that Lando pop?
The way that they designed him and the position that he's in.
Well, you know that pose. I mean, he does that shit. That is a classic Lando. Like, hey man, Colt 45.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I can see it in the movie. Like, he takes his hand, he puts it up to his head, and he almost does like a half salute.
Yes.
And he just like, boom. And that's what it is. I mean
look at it. His eyes, dude. Look at his. They even got his eyes like drooping, like he's stoned or something.
I know. This Lando stuff is so good, man. I mean, if there's one character that needs more merch in the Star Wars universe, it's Lando Calrissian.
So
I mean,
brilliant. But there's also some exclusives. There's going to be a 10-inch version of the Wicket at Target. And lo and behold, I don't know if I ever knew this thing's name or if I forgot. But if everyone remembers the little baby Ewok from Return of the Jedi, he is now a Funko Pop, a flocked Funko Pop, so that means he's going to feel fuzzy. And he is an exclusive, and his name is, I'm guessing it's a he, Baby Nippet.
Yeah. This thing looks cute as fuck. Let's be real. He's
come on.
Sitting in a little wicker basket. Looks like he's got some blankets around him and stuff.
It's just like he was when C-3PO was retelling basically A New Hope and Empire.
Yep.
And then the Jabba escaped to the Ewoks. And remember, he goes like, and he like ducks into his little crib thing.
Yeah. Dude, that scene by itself is so good. Just to see like
Arakabush.
Yeah, and then
like,
all of them Yeah, their reactions were the best.
And that's when Chirpa's like, Uka, and he's like, and C-3PO's like, yeah, we're now part of the tribe.
Yeah.
And Han Solo goes, oh, great.
Yeah. And they
doesn't he say, oh, just what I always wanted?
Just what I've always wanted, and one of them like runs up and grabs onto him right away.
Oh my God, I'm telling you, man, Return of the Jedi, it is the best. It's
such a good
I love
film.
that movie.
All right.
Okay.
So we touched on the Funkos.
Yeah, so I mean we've kind of covered our collectibles segment of the Star Wars Time Show proper. Now we're going to move into our video game segment, which I wish, honestly, Nick, we could talk about every week, but as we're going to discuss once we get to one of the stories, it's kind of impossible with the current state of AAA Star Wars games. But before we get there, let's go ahead and talk about one of our favorite friends, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, again, Matt reintroduced me to this game. I used to play it, and then I kind of slacked off, and then when Matt and I started doing this cast regularly, he was like, hey, man, do you play Galaxy of Heroes? You ever heard of this game? I was like, yeah, I touched it a little bit, but didn't really get into it. And then it hit. The obsession just took a hold of me, and this mobile game is basically 90% of the reason I look at my phone during the day. It's a fantastic...
Oh, dude, I have Apple, so I have that. I mean, they have a new screen time widget.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst but most enlightening widgets of all time. And I'll tell you what, I mean, my screen time for this game daily, it's nothing I want to like talk about in public.
It's embarrassing. Like, you probably look at it and you're like, God, am I okay? Is there something wrong with me?
Hours.
Anyway, if you're familiar with Galaxy of Heroes, it allows you to collect these iconic characters, heroes and villains from the Star Wars universe, put together squads, fight in raids, fight PvP battles, fight ship battles, and, you know, one of the new characters or one of the new ship characters that's being released into this game is the OG OT Millennium Falcon. So if you're familiar with the game, you know that we already have two versions of the Falcon
this
in there.
is the third Falcon.
Yeah, so we already have Lando Calrissian's Falcon from Solo. We already have the TFA Falcon that's piloted by Rey and Finn. And now we have the original trilogy Falcon that is piloted by
Falcon proper.
Rey, Han, and Legendary Chewie. The legendary event is live now. It's called Flight of the Falcon. It's going to be running until the 23rd or 4th, I believe. And in order to unlock this ship, you're going to need not only a squad of bounty hunters, but you're going to need a squad of bounty hunters and their ships.
Yeah, good luck if you haven't been farming that shit.
Yeah, that's... You know, Matt's been playing this game a long time.
I got the bounty hunters, but I don't got their fucking ships at the right level, I can tell you that.
Yeah, like, I have a set of 7-star bounty hunters. Like, I'm already
really?
there.
You do?
I have... Okay, so I'm
well
actually...
done.
I'm one off. So I have one. I have Aura Singh 6-star.
Oh, you're doing Aura, huh?
Yeah. She's like one of the easier farms because I already have. I have Boba 7, Greedo 7, IG 7. I'd have to look at it now.
I mean, I'll give you a heads up. IG apparently is a waste of life outside now that he has ship life, though. So it's not a bad farm.
Yeah, and then there's I can't remember who the fucking other one is, but
Rube, if you're going for
Cad
legendary
Bane.
Chewie, you pretty much have to have Bosk.
Yeah, so Bosk
and
is
probably
one
Dangar.
Bosk is one that I'm short on, but Aura's close, and then
Aura's a legit farm. I'm surprised you did that. I thought she was a hard farm.
She's Cantina Battle farm for the 16 tier. I don't remember exactly, but I'm working on her. But yeah, so you need the bounty hunters and their ships, all 7-star, to unlock the top tier.
It's
Falcon.
a fun event because I mean they're basically the gist of it is that Darth Vader again is chasing down the Falcon, so he deploys the bounty hunters in their own ships, and their ships are actually kind of cool. They got great names. I mean, Xandu Blood, Houndstooth, right?
Yep.
IG's is like, of course, what a bot's name would be. It's like the XR2000 or something.
Yeah. It's another good piece of content for this great mobile game.
It's the greatest mobile game ever made. Ever. Yeah. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, it makes it even better, but I could argue that if you just give it a chance, like if you truly just want a game to play every single day that's really never going to get old and always going to have stuff for you to work on and new stuff coming, I don't know what's better. I mean, it's already 3 years old. It's thriving. It supports over 100-person development studio. It's insane what this game has achieved. It has changed me as a gamer fundamentally. I would rather play this motherfucker than a $60 masterpiece on a console or PC.
Yeah, I mean, just put it this way. I've put more than triple the amount of hours into this game than I have both of the Battlefront games that released.
Oh, easy. Come on. I mean, maybe quadruple.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
it's
if
not
I
even
knew how to
close.
say 5-tuple, I would say that.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like, I love a good shooter every now and then, but like I kind of burned out on shooters when I was younger. I've moved on to different types of game experiences. So the Battlefronts of the world don't really interest me all that much outside of the story for
Two is
Battlefront
great.
2.
2 is great outside of the fucking campaign. I
Yeah.
mean 2 is great because of the campaign.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in the online play for it, but you're right. The storyline for
I actually
Battlefront
think
2 was
did you
legit.
ever go back and play like the DLC campaign stuff?
I did. I played through the
Okay.
essentially
I
the
think
one where
I still need to do that.
yeah, because you play as one. The DLC is Old Iden.
Yeah, back to Iden, right?
Yeah. You're playing Iden again, and it's essentially the rise of the First Order. You're witnessing.
it would you say it's kind of in Star Wars Resistance timeline?
I would
Or
definitely
earlier than that.
I would say it's closer to it's very close because Kylo is already Kylo.
Because the proper game ended with her husband getting jacked by Kylo because her husband essentially knew about Lor Santeca, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Okay.
her husband gave up where Lor Santeca was essentially. Like Kylo pulled it out of his head,
Right.
and that's how Kylo ended up on Jakku fighting. I mean, like killing everybody in that village. So that campaign took you right up to it.
Okay, so yeah, then I mean the Iden stuff probably was
Yeah,
lockstep with TFA or at
Resistance.
least Resistance.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was fantastic, but if you're looking for a daily play game that you don't need to pay for, like you don't have to pay for this game, Matt is a free-to-play player for life, which is impressive because even I have dropped a few shekels on this game.
Dude, it's getting harder and harder, especially being in a serious guild now, and like I just want the better stuff. I want the squads. Like I mean, this is a game where there's defined squads. You pretty much have to have if you want to earn the best stuff, beat the hardest bosses, raids, whatever. It's like, man, if I just spent this, I could gear him and her and this, and then it'd be like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Ah!
Like the draw to pay is real sometimes, like especially like the strongest pull that I had.
Oh,
is
dude, when events drop and you're
Yeah.
like this far amount away, of course,
Yep.
it's like, oh man, if I would just spend $20, I know I could get there.
Yeah, I mean, like CLS event, like I was on, like we were talking while I was going through the CLS event before I finished unlocking them. I was like, dude, I'm so close, and like, it's that is what this game offers you. It's like you have these abilities, like you can unlock these iconic master characters in this game, but you have to work for it. And to know that, all right, CLS is a day away, and I think I'm there. I think I got it. And then you go in and you fight through the whole mission, and you get to the end, and you're 10 HP away from winning, and you can't get it. And right there is where the pay moment comes in. You're like, if I pay $10, $20, I can get this piece of gear.
You can hear Sheev in your ear going.
Yeah.
Do
The
it.
dark side. Come to the dark side. But it eats at you, and it's like I sat there and I was like, if I get this one piece of gear for Leia, she's gonna be tier 10, and then it's easy street.
Yeah, take it to the bank. He's like, yeah, I can take it to the bank if I just drop some coin.
Yeah, but that's what makes this game so good is that if you put in the work, you don't have to, it may take you a little bit longer to unlock some of these things, but you still get there.
What do you mean it may? It
will
take you a lot longer.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way: if you spend about $1,000 or more, there's a good chance you could position yourself to be like top 5 in your shard ladder for both the normal arena and ship arena, which in turn would allow you to generate gems daily, like hundreds of them. So then you probably wouldn't have to spend real money anymore, but it still would require at least $1,000 or more investment.
Yeah, exactly. And playing daily. You can't just drop the money and then forget about it.
Oh, yeah, come on.
You still have to grind.
Yeah, I mean, grind. I mean, again, the person I'm talking about, let's just say like it's a friend. I mean, he's figured out ways to network with the other top players in his shard. That's what we call, like, if your
essentially your server.
Your ladder. Yeah, your server, your ladder, whatever you're competing in publicly. But apparently there's a website where you can connect with the people in your shard and essentially set up agreements that, hey, you get first today, I get first tomorrow. And it's just so they can essentially monopolize the top 5.
That is, I didn't know that existed.
Fuck, that's what I'm talking. That's how crazy this game is, man.
It's nuts. And I mean, you're right. Like, once you've mastered those PvP tiers, then like the rest of the game just kind of falls in place, because there's death squads for PvP that you can build.
Well, it's called the meta. It's called who is the meta, and that means just like what squads are essentially unbeatable in the player versus player ladders.
Yeah. And I mean, I tried to put together like a pretty decent squad a while ago, but like I just like the characters aren't 7-star like they're supposed to be, so they're not max level, but I was still able to put together a decent squad where I can hold my own in like the 200s to 190 range of the PvP arena ladder. And then I'm also in like the 210 to 190 range in the ship arena ladder. But like Matt said, there are guys who drop money, who have money squads that just can't be beaten unless they choose to lose. Like, oh man. So again, if you've listened to this podcast before, we've definitely talked about Galaxy of Heroes. If you look at the StarWarsTime.net website, you've seen articles about Galaxy of Heroes. So if you don't have it yet, fucking download this game. This game is so fun.
And by the way, it's free. So if you hate it, you can just long tap delete if you're on iOS, or long tap drag delete if you're on Android. I mean, come on.
Let's do it. All right, let's move on to some other video game news. Less exciting than
some shitty news. Go ahead. You
shitty
launch into this one, because you kind of. I don't know if was it Kotaku? Did they have the exclusive on this, and you just picked up on it? Yeah, because I know we were kind of a day early getting this out when you picked it up from them.
Yeah, so Kotaku had the exclusive, and essentially what it is ever since EA's had the license to Star Wars starting back in 2013, they've essentially done nothing with it aside from making some mobile games like Galaxy of Heroes, and then 2 Battlefront games. So one of the games that was initially announced when the acquisition, or when they got the license from Disney to make the Star Wars games, was that Visceral, the studio Visceral Games was making a Star Wars AAA title. Visceral created Dead Space. One of the
greatest games ever made.
One of the great, like, hands down, probably the best horror action game ever made.
Fucking loved it.
On a
loved
console.
it.
So everybody was super hype about that. The announcement comes out, Visceral's making a Star Wars game. We hear nothing about it for years, long stretches of time. Amy Hennig eventually came to the studio to helm this game. Amy Hennig is the creator and former game director for the Uncharted series at Naughty Dog. She comes on we're like, oh yeah, she's in it now. She's gonna get it done. Naughty Dog did such a fantastic job with Uncharted. She's gonna kill this. Nothing again until now. Well, until we found out last year that Visceral Games shuttered. They were canned. EA kicked them in the ass and told them to get out. And then they shifted the game that Visceral was making to an EA studio called EA Vancouver. When EA Vancouver took that game over, they essentially scrapped it and rebuilt it from nothing, only using the same creative assets. And 3 days ago, we find out that game, after all the shit that it's gone through, has been canceled by EA. Like,
did you also? I don't know if did you say in the follow-up coverage it essentially is basically coming out saying that EA is mad about the license, and I'm going like, what? Like,
yeah, like
what?
Unless there's something going on to where they can't get unless it's in the contract that they have to get approvals from Disney.
That's
and
all
Lucas.
I can think of is like they can't get an idea or concepts or pitches approved. Like Disney and Lucasfilm are just like, nope. Because how else can you be upset with the license when you're the one that bought it and signed up for the fucking terms?
Yeah, I don't know what level of autonomy they had, but I was under the impression that they had pretty free reign to kind of go about and make the games that they wanted.
Well,
I mean,
you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the LucasArts days when George would come in and be like, blow up 6 months of work in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I can see where there could be frustration in terms of the story content, because I imagine that any kind of new information, any kind of new storylines they try to weave into games have to be approved by the Lucasfilm Story Group at some level. So maybe there's some disagreements there, but like you would figure that fucking 6 years of time owning this license, you would be able to put out more than 2 games, both of them being Battlefront games. It's if it's frustrating for them, imagine how it is
it's
for
a
fans.
goddamn joke. Is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we have been waiting. Like, I was one of the ones who was on the side of this acquisition. I was like, oh my god, EA's got the license. Look at the studios they have.
So, I mean, is Force Unleashed 2 the last AAA Star Wars non-Battlefront game we got?
Yeah, that was the last one, and that was still under LucasArts.
Or was it the Old Republic game that you casually still play?
No, I think, let's see. The Old Republic MMO was made by EA, but it was pre-acquisition. So let's take a look here.
But when do you consider that a AAA StarArs game?
I
think,
do.
Right? Yeah.
2011.
Okay,
so that would be the last one.
That is it then.
Yeah. It was
in
announced
terms
in
of like a multi-platform or just a console game, I believe it's Force Unleashed 2.
It is Force. Yeah, that's the last one that came out for consoles.
And was that 09? That's 09, right?
Let's see. Force Unleashed 2.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, beep.
Hear the keyboard strokes. 2010. So it came out a year before.
All right.
A year before SWTOR. But that was the last one. Like, that was it. And then the only thing that we got since then are 2 fucking Battlefront games. One of them doesn't have a storyline to speak of. The first Battlefront game was just an online multiplayer experience. And the second one, they finally came around and they put a decent story in it. And it was actually fun to play through. So seeing something like this and the way that it was described when EA Vancouver took it over, they took it in and they turned it into an open world Star Wars game, which is exactly what everybody wants. Like, think about a Star Wars game.
We've never had one, right?
No, I mean, unless you want to consider Knights of the Old Republic an open world.
But it wasn't. I mean, it was still self-contained. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I guess you could choose to go to one planet before the other.
Yeah, but it was still
you still had to go to them.
Yeah, the story was still pretty. It still contained you to a relatively. It was
pretty scripted. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go here, and here to achieve X.
Yeah. Whereas, I mean, could you imagine a Star Wars game like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, or
Quite frankly, I can't, and I'm 38. And I grew up during the rise of video games, and no one has ever been able to craft one.
Yeah, and so that is, when EA Vancouver says that they shifted,
and you'd think it'd be a no-brainer. I mean, you just call it fucking Star Wars Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Star Wars Galaxies was already a
you
a
fucking
game.
get you get an X-wing and or a fucking T-16 Skyhopper and you fucking fly around. Sign me the fuck up.
Yeah,
that could be the whole game. Like I just shoot womp rats.
Yeah. So this game has been canned, and according to Kotaku, the reason that it was canned is because the development cycle was too long for EA's liking. They, this game probably wasn't going to release until somewhere.
How about quit switching studios and shit, you fuckheads?
Yeah, just allow the studio to make the game. But so what they've done, at least, what Kotaku has heard from their sources inside of EA, is that EA has canned this game, but they've put in place a plan to create another game in its place that will release sometime in 2020. It's not confirmed. There's no confirmation on this, whereas the entire Fallout...
It's probably going to be the Force Unleashed bundle remastered.
If that's what it is, I'm going to be so pissed.
How much you want to bet?
Oh my God, dude. But yeah, so I mean, this is just another example, and Matt and I, like Matt said, like we wish we could talk about video games every week. Like we wish that there was enough content in Star Wars
we
video
do
game
have
land.
A positive story coming next in video game land, but it's still mighty frustrating to think that we're going on almost 10 years of not having a legitimate non-Battlefront AAA Star Wars game.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. And one of the biggest publishers on the planet owns the license. Like, that's the confusing part to me. Not only do they own the license, but they own the studio that made arguably the best Star Wars game ever made in Knights of the Old Republic. BioWare. Like, they own BioWare.
Yeah.
What is happening over there?
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what this story's about.
I mean, dude, honestly, at this point, would you not die to have KOTOR 1 remaster HD supercut? Like, dude, they literally update it to today's graphics.
Take KOTOR 1
in mechanics,
drop it in fucking Unreal 4.
No, yeah, they redo everything. Like everything is redone. Story remains the same. They don't change any of that, but they change all visual assets, everything, game mechanics, in terms of animation, everything.
Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat.
I'd pay $100, and I've already bought that game 30 times on 9 different platforms.
I have that game on my phone. Like, I have the full KOTOR game on my phone.
I'm pretty sure I've bought it. I've bought it multiple times for the same platform.
Yeah, Steam. Like, I've bought it twice on Steam.
Every time they run a Star Wars sale, I basically rebuy KOTOR.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is there is no excuse that EA can give by saying we're frustrated by owning the license that can make up for owning Star Wars games since 2013 and not putting out anything substantial. Like, I don't care what you say. There's no level of incompetency that can explain away how you fucked up this license so bad. Like, Star Wars video games used to be some of the best out there.
Bro, I mean, would you not take a janky-ass movie video game at this point? Remember when we used to get those for the prequels?
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, there was literally a video game for Revenge of the Sith. There's the Obi-Wan Kenobi Phantom Menace game. I mean, I would take that at this point.
Yeah, anything. Like, the only other shit that we've gotten is the Lego games. And I don't even think EA makes those. Like, EA might not be responsible for those, or they just publish it.
No, they're Traveler's Tales.
Yeah, so that's not even them. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can remember the Revenge
no,
of the
but
Sith
honestly, I think because EA owns the license, that's also why we probably haven't. No, they did one for TFA, didn't they? Wasn't there
game. Yeah, they
Lego
did.
TFA? Yeah.
Yeah, there was. I think there was one for TLJ too, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think there was.
Okay. I have to check, but give me one of those. Like the fucking Revenge of the Sith game had an alternate ending where Anakin doesn't lose the fight versus Obi-Wan and goes on to be Darth Vader as full Anakin. Like as like not, not fucking chopped in half Anakin. It was crazy. But we can't even say that we got that from EA. All we can say is that we got 2 Battlefront games. One of them has a story. The other one is purely online. The only other shit that we've got is mobile. And like we were saying 5 minutes ago, the mobile games are really good. But we want substantial Star Wars content in 4K on my big-ass TV.
Let's get back to the Jedi Outcast era.
Yeah.
Dark
Jedi
Forces
Outcast.
era. I mean, come on. I mean, dude, I know LucasArts had its issues, but let's go. X-Wing, TIE Fighter. Damn it. What was damn it. What was the RTS I used to play?
Galaxy at War.
Yes.
Galaxy at War. I had that one too.
There was even a different one before that. It was even better, but I can't remember it. I don't care. Like, I don't want to figure it out.
There's a ton of Star Wars. Go through Star Wars or go through Wikipedia, type in Star Wars video games. You'll have a list that's 50 long. Like there's a ton, and they were all great in their own way. So here's what we'll do. I just wrote this piece and went through it. This was the downside of the Star Wars video game universe now. Matt, give us some good news. You wrote the good news piece here.
Okay, the first good news is that I remembered the name of the game.
Okay, what was it?
It was Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. I'm telling you right now, any motherfuckers that played like the OG StarCraft or that era of RTS games, they will vouch for me. It is fantastic. I think the one you were talking about, another one I also loved, is a little bit more modern, Empire at War.
Empire at War, yeah. Galaxy at War was like one of the expansions to it or something like that.
Right.
I don't remember exactly.
Star Wars Galactic Battleground, there was a proper, and then there was the Clone Wars expansion. Fantastic. If you can get it on Steam, get it. I believe I own it. I've never played it since I've re-owned it, but the fact that I own it comforts me. But anyways, getting back to, as Nick kind of set up, the positive Star Wars video game news. And it's nothing we can really take to the bank outside that someone's probably going to get a job, because you never know anymore in the Star Wars AAA video game landscape if a game is going to actually make it to fruition, right? So all we can report is that as of this week, Respawn Studios, the studio behind Titanfall, and it was revealed a few months back that they're also working on a game called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but it was revealed this week through Twitter that they are still trying to hire people for the game, which I interpreted as a positive sign, a sign that the game is moving forward and hopefully moving forward to a release. So, Nick, I mean, we just kind of lamented on the fact that this RPG got waxed, but I guess there is some hope left that we may get a proper non-Battlefront Star Wars AAA game. Yeah,
so this game is our only hope. I mean, like, if we're Princess Leia and we're sitting there and staring R2-D2 in the face, like, this game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, is our
I was
only
thinking about that too, but I wasn't clever enough to weave it in, so good job.
But here's the thing. It's gotten to the point to where it was officially announced at E3 last year, which is good because, I mean, when games are announced at E3,
it could still take 6 years, but they're probably going to come out.
Yeah, I mean, just look at fucking the Sony game, The Last Guardian. That was announced 14 years ago, and it still came out.
Days Gone. I mean, Days Gone's finally coming out, I think, April, but that's got to be at least 3 or 4 years since the announcement.
So it's out there. It has an official title. It has a studio connected to it. Respawn Entertainment, huge studio, like Matt said. Titanfall developers previously
big
before
fans of
joining
Respawn. I mean, they started fucking Call of Duty, people.
Yeah, exactly. Like they
this
were
this
old
is
Infinity War.
War.
Yeah. So this game does look good to me, and the time period that it's set in is very interesting because it's post Fall of Jedi Order, or right around when that's happening. So you're talking end of Revenge of the Sith, once Order 66 goes in, and then moving forward. So you're covering the period of time where all of these Jedi survivors are somewhere out in the galaxy and being hunted down. So that's really interesting. And also it's supposed to be like an action-oriented Star Wars game, which I'm all for, because if it's lightsaber play and it's action-oriented, I'm going to have a ball. Like, I think that this game has the potential to be fantastic. My only worry is, like you said, Respawn has only ever made first-person shooters. So this is completely out of their wheelhouse. But they have incredible developers that work for that team. Vince Ampeller, the founder of the studio, is a visionary-minded video games. Like you said, he made Call of Duty the juggernaut of a franchise that it is now.
Call of Duty 2, man, still to me probably one of the best Call of Duties ever. I'm sure it doesn't hold up today, but that's literally the game that started it all. I mean, they still had they still wanted to stick with World War II with 3, but once 4 rolled out, see ya.
Yeah.
500 million a year guaranteed.
Yeah, basically. I mean, even continuing on to fucking Black Ops 4 that just released last year.
500. It made over 500 million launch. I mean, come on.
It's a money printing machine. But to know that guy is in charge of the studio that's making what could hopefully
I have
be.
full faith that Respawn, if EA and the powers that be let these guys and girls get this game out, it's gonna kick ass.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm super excited. And then also what I want to touch on briefly is, if you look at the title, it's Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order. Does that not seem to you like it's setting up a possible series here? Like, we may get a Star Wars Jedi : Outcast Order, Outcasts or something like that. Like, this seems
100%. It leaves that door wide open.
Yeah. So if we can get not only a brand new AAA Star Wars title that knocks it out the park, but one that opens up the door to an entire franchise, like a new series of Star Wars AAA titles, I'm in. So this game is slated to release 2019, which is this year.
Please.
So for the love of God, I hope that there's not a delay announcement for this anytime soon. I mean, E3, we're getting around a convention season again pretty soon. So we're likely going to be hearing about this game at E3.
Games of this size, you might as well just bank on it being delayed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's become commonplace now.
Hold on. I'm using the force. Okay. Yep, it's going to be delayed.
2020 Q2.
Early. I'm going Q1.
Q1.
We'll get like a Feb, maybe very early March drop.
It's just, I just want something, man.
Oh yes, of course. Why the hell not? I mean,
yeah,
that's a fair desire to have as a Star Wars fan. I mean, we have been robbed in that medium. I mean, we've been, you could argue, spoiled in the others. We've been spoiled with the movies, almost to the point, not even almost. We were so spoiled with the movies, we pissed on them to the fact that we're not going to get as many movies as we could have gotten. How do you like that? And we still don't have video games coming out.
Yeah.
We got comic books. We got toys. I mean, we got TV shows, animated shows. We got new fucking YouTube channels popping up for Star Wars, but we can't get a fucking game. We can't get games.
Yeah. And this is particularly frustrating for Matt and I because our wheelhouse is video games. I mean, like, we've both worked for, you still run a website that's heavily dedicated to video game content. I used to work for a website that was heavily dedicated to that was all video game content. And if you've listened to the intro cast for the Star Wars Time show, then you know that both of us, are huge gamers. We have been forever. And that Star Wars really ignited our passion for not only just general fandom, but video games as well. So to be in the situation where we are now, where we're overloaded with content to the point to where we can't keep up with it all, but we can't get one AAA game that's not Battlefront, is just super depressing for both of us. Like, we want to play it. They just won't give it to us.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It's crappy, and I don't know. I mean, you almost have to question if EA or whoever was willing. I forget who put out the story again. Like I said, that EA is unhappy with the license, but I guarantee if you do a Google search, it'll pop up. You almost have to wonder if it is a situation where they're just being cock blocked on ideas, and they're just like, fuck it. Maybe it is Lucasfilm or Disney saying, I like how I'm being just as dumb as some of the people we're about to talk about, as if they're two separate companies. They're literally one and the same. One is the parent, one is a sub.
Yeah.
But, who knows? I mean, maybe they are saying, no, you can't make movie games. We don't want movie games.
At this point,
I don't know why you wouldn't, but maybe they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick buck. I mean, just crank it out. But here's what I say. If we get to, I mean, I don't even want to wait till the 10-year mark because it's still so far away. If we get to the 8-year mark and we don't have anything, I say that you void that fucking license and you open it up to bids. Like, you say, you go to every game developer, small studio, big studio, publisher, whatever. You say, and Disney says, pitch me your Star Wars games. Give me all of them. Show me what you want to do, and we will pick the best ones to make. And we'll give you the money to do it. Because I know that there are studios out there that can make these games. I can imagine seeing them now. Like, if you would see Obsidian, the studio that's built Pillars of Eternity, making a Star Wars RPG. Fantastic. I mean, just not even, hands down would be fantastic. I mean, even some of Bungie just broke away from Activision.
Yeah, how about that?
Like, I mean, one, smart ass move on Bungie's part. Two, if you approached Bungie to make a Star Wars game, Bungie made Halo.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
It's just the license, name.
Dude, could you imagine if Bungie essentially applied the Destiny model to a Star Wars universe game?
I wouldn't do anything else with my life. Like, that'd
exactly,
be it.
Dude. I'd be like, I may have to quit. Squo. Sorry, sometimes I get excited. That's Galaxy Heroes. Sorry. That's like our secret little call.
That's the nerd call.
Squaw.
But
how funny would it be if you did that in a crowd of Star Wars fans and people actually are like, yeah, dude, look, I got fucking the Ewok squad to get C-3PO.
Dude, you got to do that at Celebration when we're there.
Yeah.
You'll get responses.
Yeah, I'll be like, squaw. All right, dude.
Everybody opens up their phone.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's noon. It's time to get rewards.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just think that, like you said, if Bungie were to make a fucking Destiny like Star Wars game,
honestly,
that'd be done.
Someone should pay us for just saying that.
Yeah, because that's the best idea that's ever been said.
I honestly feel like we should get paid for just suggesting that. Even if someone has already suggested it, we should still get paid.
Yeah.
For suggesting it.
Is there not an idea man or idea people positions open at Lucasfilm right now? Matt and I,
dude, sign me up for fucking manager of ideas.
Yeah, Matt and I could fill those positions very easily.
Yeah.
So, anyway, if you're looking forward to Star Wars
we'll take over
games,
the idea department in your company if you have one, by the way.
Yeah, if you don't have one, we'll make it for you.
Yeah, because we have ideas for the idea department.
Yeah, let's just go, people. I mean,
ideas. I like it. I like the way you think.
But that's what we need to get paid for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Think.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I guess that's what the story group is. They just have ideas, and people listen to them or they don't.
They're like, what if there's a giant squid in space that grabs the Star Destroyer as Ezra and Thrawn are on it? And they're like, all right,
Yep.
we can do that.
Yep. Approved.
Yeah. Check. Send it through.
I want to kill Luke. I want to keep him alive. All right. Approved and approved.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's killing him, so I can't do my vision, so what the fuck am I doing here?
Still approved.
Approved, but do you want to quit, or should we fire you because you're doing what we're telling you? Oh, you're an artist, you want to do what you want? Okay, see ya.
Yeah, bye. We'll get somebody else.
But that was the reenactment of Colin Trevorrow and his exit from Lucasfilm.
Oh, man. Anyway, if you're looking forward to Star Wars games in 2019,
See,
cross your
that's
fucking
why you
fingers
subscribe
for-
to this podcast, people.
Oh, man. For Jedi Fallen Order. All right, next up, Matt, you dug up this gem. And it's a Star Wars theory fan film.
Yeah,
so it's
all
a
right.
YouTube
Exactly.
video.
So, I mean, clearly, if you're a Star Wars fan, or some of you, there was a huge movement behind this. And I'm not going to lie, I did see a little bit of a swell on IG, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm a petty asshole. Like I said, I'm honest with you people. I think Nick and I should have a bigger audience than we do. So when I see other, what I call people getting web famous for Star Wars, it pisses me off. But in the end, I respect what this guy did. And we're talking about the Star Wars Theory YouTube channel. Guy's got like almost 1.6, 1.7 million subscribers. He somehow scrounged up enough money to create a live-action Darth Vader short. It's like 16 minutes long. He screened it at a theater. It's impressive stuff. But we're not here to talk about his Darth Vader film. Again, this is Star Wars. What's the name of this guy?
It's Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, right. Star Wars Theory. I thought it was Star Wars Fan Theory. All right, but Star Wars Theory. So anyways, he creates this movie, and he did everything right. Like, he went to Lucasfilm, Disney, and said, hey, I want to make this movie about Darth Vader, essentially picking up right after Episode 3 to examine him. You know, it's going to be 16 minutes long, blah, blah, blah. Here's the beats, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to make money on it. I'm not going to use the original music. I'm going to pay for it myself. No one's going to fund me. I mean, everything was done correctly, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Above board. He went
right.
straight to Lucasfilm.
Right, and he was doing great. I mean, it had millions of views. Millions, like 4, 5, 6 million, something like that. I believe it's upwards of 8 million at this point.
Yeah, 7.6 million views.
Right. So anyways, I think it was this week or late last week, he gets hit with a content ID claim. And if you are a YouTube channel owner, whatever, if you ever upload to YouTube, you may be aware of what that is. And it's essentially you get a nasty from them saying, hey, you're using something that someone else created. They own the copyright. And because of that, they're going to go ahead and claim money on the video. So if let's say you did monetize the video, they'd essentially be taking the money away from you because they'd be like, no, that's our stuff.
Yeah, you're using our intellectual
right.
property.
But in this case, he wasn't monetizing, so they're just saying, hey, even though you're not making money off of the stuff we're claiming that's ours, that you still aren't making money off of, but you're still using what we think is ours, we're going to go ahead and make the money anyways, which could essentially equate to about $80,000 at this point based on the views. So, I mean, clearly he was distraught, and I get it. I mean, it sucks to get those because, especially with all the groundwork he did, right? I mean, he did everything right.
Yeah, like going to Lucasfilm, getting approval, telling them like, hey, I'm not going to monetize this. I want to make this because I have the ability to do this, I have the skills to do this, and I have the passion for Star Wars to do this. They gave him the okay. Like, he did everything right. And to still be slapped like this is just heartbreaking for this dude.
Right. So what happened? He gets hit by this company called Warner Chappell, and they claimed that the music he was using, which was not John Williams' music, it was original stuff he either paid for or found public domain, whatever. But they claimed that it sounded close enough, and it was within their rights to essentially claim monetization on the video. So, I mean, that clearly bummed them out. And then people found out that guess who owns Warner Chappell? Disney. And this is ultimately why Nick and I wanted to talk about this, because what essentially this little episode did, and honestly, the guy didn't deserve any of it. I understand why he took to the internet. I wish he didn't just come out and kind of Disney. I mean, Disney is Disney, but all its little sub companies still kind of run autonomously.
Yeah, Bob Iger is not sitting there saying,
no,
"Hey, strike this music
not
right now."
Yeah, he's not the CEO of every company that Disney owns. I hope people understand that. I don't know, and honestly, I know people don't understand that based on the way people react. Disney is huge. They own a lot of media companies, entertainment, studios, this, that, the other thing. That does not mean that they are directly controlling what they do.
No.
I mean, it doesn't mean it at all. It just means they're essentially benefiting from the revenues they make. And that's really all they care about.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. I mean, if anybody is familiar with YouTube, like Matt said, the way that these content strikes often work,
it wasn't a strike. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah, it's not us. Yeah.
If it was a strike, that would have been rough, because basically, again, if you're in the know, 3 strikes, you're out. A copyright strike is detrimental. If you get 1, it essentially eliminates half your ability on YouTube. I mean, I don't even think you can monetize anymore if you even get a single strike, or you're at least under penalty for a certain amount of time. But if you get 3, your channel's deleted and you're gone. You can't even make a new one. Like, your IP's banned, you're done.
Yeah.
So that would have been terrible. He got content ID claimed, which it still sucks, because someone's essentially saying, even though you did all the right stuff, and this isn't even the actual copyrighted material we're still claiming it because within the letter of the law, and because we're a huge multi-million-dollar company and you're a dude in your apartment making cool Star Wars movies, we know we can just bully you, and you'll never be able to fight us in court, so go fuck yourself. And that's really where the uproar came from. That's how this made it to the front page of Reddit, and ultimately, to make a long story short, it's what led to it being corrected by Lucasfilm. But the interesting part here was that the trolls came back out, Nick. I mean, it's been a while since we've kind of heard from the real toxic Star Wars fan base. It's been over a year since TLJ. Some of that fallout might have finally settled. You never know. But when this story broke, I mean, man, did they come out again like, Disney, fuck, eat a dick, suck my dick, you're ruining my life, I hate you, boycott episode 9, everyone needs to die, kill JJ, Kathleen's a whore, you know, I mean, it's just like, Jesus.
Yeah, the fandom, or the toxic fandom, they just pounced all over it. Like, it seems like there's just a bunch of people that are sitting on 4chan, or
they're just waiting to get angry.
Yeah, they're like combing they have an alert set up for negative stuff about Star Wars on Google, and then when it comes through, they jump on it like a bunch of jackals, and
you know what sucks?
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I'm glad for Toos, the guy that runs Theory. Because in the end, I'm kidding. You know, I wish I could enjoy the success he's enjoying. That's why I'm hating. I mean, let's be real. I don't really hate the guy. But I'm glad that he got justice because I've been fucked. I've had strikes on legit material that I was given that I could post, and I got strikes, and I had to go through the process. And it's a nightmare being a dude in your house, your basement, your apartment, or whatever. It sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just like, as soon as people found out that Disney owned Warner, they go right back to that fucking gimmick of Disney's ruining all this bullshit. And here's the irony of it all, and just the proof that these people have no fucking clue what they're talking about, and they just want to hate the hate, just because it just I don't know, it might get them off. I have no idea. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But when he reveals that Lucasfilm steps in to save him, everyone's like, yeah, Lucasfilm, yeah, go, Lucasfilm's the best, and no one. To me, it was shocking that no one realized that Lucasfilm is also Disney.
Yeah, they are one and the same now.
Lucasfilm is the same as Warner Chapel. It's the same thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna consider Warner Chapel Disney and say like, oh my God, they're the worst, blah blah blah, then like you gotta consider Lucasfilm Disney, right? Like they're closer to Disney.
So yeah, I mean,
Warner
who
Chapel
do you hate,
is.
people? I mean, who do you really hate? Like, let's get real. Who do you want to hate?
Yourself.
Who do you want to hate?
That's
Because
who
it's
they
all
hate.
one and the same at this point in time. I mean, just get over it.
Yeah,
Lucasfilm does not belong to George Lucas. Look it up.
No.
It's not hard. That's what drives me nuts in this day and age. People they either just are lazy or they just want to believe what they want to believe. No one wants to take the time to look shit up.
Yeah,
Because I even looked it up, and I knew that Disney owned it, but I wanted to make sure. They own it. They do. I mean, Disney owns Lucasfilm.
Yeah, that was a part of the deal. Oh, but like we said, we're kind of using this as an example of the toxic fandom coming back out again. But if you haven't seen this fan film, we'll link it in the post on YouTube. It's fantastically made. I mean, the special effects are probably the best you'll see out of a fucking, a non-movie studio. These things are great. And, yeah, I mean, give it a watch. 16, it's from start to credits, it's 12 minutes and 40 seconds long. So give it a watch. It's up to 7.6 million views on YouTube. Show this guy some love. If nothing else, just for the pure amount of shit he had to go through with the story that we just, described.
Just share love. Don't go on there and be like, "Hey, fuck Disney, eat a dick." I mean, come on. Let's get over that stuff.
The guy doesn't care about your opinions on Disney. Give him some legitimate feedback or some love on his content. That's why he put it up here.
He may, because I think a lot of the hate is what ultimately got him the spotlight.
Yeah,
to be honest,
the 7.6 million. Maybe he'll take a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if you also look at some of his content, he definitely flirts with the flame bait type of stuff sometimes. But whatever. Hey, man. Like I said, all respect to him.
All right.
Yeah,
we're moving on to
let's round it home and get into that episode 9 stuff.
Yeah, like if you guys have been around the Star Wars Time show for a little bit, you know that we like to save the good stuff for last. So this is episode 9 news that we're jumping into now, and we got 2 stories. One of them is from Mr. John Boyega himself from his Instagram feed. John is a top-notch guy. He's good on social, especially on Instagram. He posts a lot of fun shit. And then he's also good in movies, man. I mean,
I wish he would get. Yeah, I wish he'd get more
Uprising.
roles like Pacific Rim. I loved him in that. Like, I thought he was perfect in that.
Yeah. So the guy, he's just an all-around good dude, good actor, and like I said, if you follow his Instagram feed, you may have seen an image that he posted up not too long ago. Yeah. I mean, this is something that we're kind of getting used to, is that the set for episode 9 is locked down. Like,
I mean, bro, Ryan was taking pictures on 8 set and sharing them. I mean,
and like episode 9 is just you don't get almost anything out of it. So to get this shot of John, he's showing his hands and clearly beat up muddy. You can see calluses on
There's
his
a little
on his
blood on
palms.
there, a little blood.
A little blood too. And he says, "Great day on set. The whole team pushed themselves today to achieve something visually crazy."
I love that.
Yeah, I've had many moments of shock on set, but not like today.
I love that
and
too.
I can't wait until you know why.
And I love
hashtag, that. The hashtag is good.
Yeah.
FN2187.
Damn straight.
So
Yeah. Break that down, man.
Break it-
Start with visually crazy. What the hell do you
Yeah.
think that is?
visually crazy. If you think about the stuff that this dude's been in
based on
recently,
his hands and visually crazy. I mean, what the hell do you think Finn could be doing?
it's got to be a battle, right? Like a ground battle. Like why else would he have blood on his hands?
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of look like World War II, maybe World War I trench warfare type of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely looks like he went through some shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see his face. Like, you literally only see his hands.
So, like,
but
visually crazy. I mean, is it a ground battle, space battle in a starship?
I've had many moments of shock on set, but none like today.
Yeah,
like that's huge.
Well, the fact that there's been many moments of shock, but the fact that this one is the most shocking.
Yeah, I mean, whose blood is that?
Right.
Like, that's a good question right there. Is that blood the cause for the shock? Like, is that some fucking Rey blood? Is that some?
Yeah, Rey doesn't bleed.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, Rey's like the Terminator.
Rey's gonna go down in this movie. She may get injured here. It looks
No way.
like.
No way. Who are you, Mike Zero?
What is that? You think it's some Poe Dameron?
Yeah.
Little Poe Dameron blood right there?
No way. Nah,
gotta be somebody.
It could be his own for all we know. I just it's more the words he used to me that was interesting than I think the visual helped support what he was saying, but I think what he was saying carried way more weight in terms of just speculating and wondering what the hell did they shoot. Because, I mean, if you know anything about Hollywood, this was probably a day to do maybe 2-3 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe 5.
It's got to be a big scene.
Yeah, and he's talking, it's one of the craziest things he's ever seen visually. And in terms of shooting 9, it was the most shocking moment he's had yet, and he's had many. So, I mean, there's great news for us right there.
Yeah.
This guy's been shocked multiple times before the most shocking time.
Yeah. So I'm definitely getting hyped for this. I mean, seeing stuff like this is definitely something that JJ would okay because it gives away essentially nothing. Like, you know, and it just builds the hype. And the hashtag behind it is so good too, FN2187. Because it's still like, is it something to do with the First Order? Is this something like oh
man, you're right. Like, does he strap the armor back on, or is he going like? Did he just fucking slaughter a bunch of troopers?
Do you remember? This is probably This was a while ago. We talked about it, but this idea that maybe Finn is helping these troopers break their programming, like he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what if it's something like that?
There you go. I like that. I could get behind that.
Yeah. So,
like, he is some sort of escape. He's bringing him over. I mean, honestly, just as iconic it was to see, him pop his helmet for the first time, how nuts would it be to see like 4 or 5 troopers pop their helmets?
Yeah,
and
boom,
see
boom, boom.
who they are, because we still haven't seen that outside of the clones in, both the prequels and the Clone Wars series.
Yep.
And then again, like we just said with Homeboy.
Yeah, with Finn himself.
So I mean, dude, that would be an epic scene to me, to see him, get these dudes out, and then they roll to the Resistance ragtag guerrilla crew. And they just all pop their helmets and their armor, but then you see all their faces. I mean, that would be epic.
Yeah, I think
that would be... idea manager.
Look, these are always flowing.
We're
guys.
making money. Like, we just made so much money just tonight.
Yeah.
In an hour and a half so far, we've already made millions.
Yeah, just
in ideas.
Sign us up. Sign us up.
Pay us.
Just look. This is the way that you can track our
What the hell
effectiveness.
did you originally call it? The idea.
Oh
my god.
I don't remember now.
Idea manager.
Yeah, the idea team.
Yeah, exactly. The idea department.
Yeah.
It's better than IKEA.
Sign us up. But yeah, I mean this photo was fantastic from John. It's on his Instagram page, so go give him a follow now at John Boyega on Instagram. All right. Good stuff. Last piece here, Matt. And this one's interesting. And you know, the way that you positioned it was really interesting as well. So this is talking with Adam Driver in a Deadline interview. Basically, in this interview, he reveals that he knows, or he has known, the full arc of Kylo Ren for a while now. And the way that you position it is very interesting because, like you said, if he's known the full arc of Kylo Ren for a while now, this means that there may not have been many changes for this character after Colin Trevorrow's departure in Episode 9.
Yeah. So I'm glad you picked on that. That shows that you do have signs of high intelligence.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, honestly, he gave one quote. It was an interesting quote. I mean, he said, with Star Wars, I had one piece of information, like you said, and it's been in his head for a long time, and he knows they're building towards it. And that to me was a huge revelation, because as if you've paid attention to this trilogy saga, I mean, TFA's story initially was essentially blown up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Arnold started it, and then Kasdan and JJ come in and essentially reworked most of it. I mean, he still got a credit.
Yeah.
And then Ryan comes in and does his thing and kind of reshapes a lot of stuff JJ teed up. And the rumor we heard, and I do believe it was probably legit, that the main reason Colin bailed is because he didn't want Luke to die.
Yeah, he wanted to use Luke.
Right. So at one point, Nick and I were going like, what the fuck is the story group doing then? Like, I mean, are these people just allowed to come in willy-nilly and write whatever the fuck they want? I mean, is there anything that has to remain constant? And lo and behold, apparently there was at least one thing that did, and that was the arc of Kylo Ren. I think does that not prove now that this is his trilogy, just like the 6 movies were Darth's?
Yeah, I think, this is something that I mentioned in the last full Star Wars Timecast, not the Resistance recap, but, we were talking about who is the real main character of this trilogy. And in my opinion, and, yet to be seen in Episode 9, but the true main character of this trilogy is really Kylo.
You could argue it's a 1-1A situation with him.
Yeah, with Kylo. Yeah, with Kylo and Rey, it's very close because now these characters are so closely connected to each other that it may be difficult to have their individual arcs not related to each other in Episode 9. But I say almost inarguably that the more interesting plot thread so far has been Kylo. Now, TFA was definitely Rey's movie. It was her coming of age, the awakening of the Force, as the movie is so named. That one was hers. But TLJ, was Kylo's movie.
She still has, to me, the best moment in the new trilogy, and that's in the woods with the fucking saber pull. To me, like even now, even with my little kid beating this movie into my head now, that moment still gets me nearly every time. If I catch it, I'm like,
that's
fuck.
like
the goddamn Luke music kicks in, and you're like, motherfucker, she is a fucking pimp.
Yeah, that's like top 3 in the saga for me.
Oh yeah,
like it's top 3, and we're talking big shit.
And then she just kicks the fuck out of him.
Yeah, just takes him to the house. Like,
well, I guess he fights her a bit, but then when they get in that stalemate and he says the Force, and then like she almost like goes into meditative state, and she goes, the Force. And then that's when she really channels the motherfucker. That's probably when she gets a little dark side going.
Yeah.
Right? And she just is like, face slash, I win.
And, I mean, like, both me and Matt thought that Kylo's lightsaber was destroyed at the end of that fight, but lo and behold, it wasn't. But you're right. Like, that whole sequence right there, that is the moment that brought those two together inexorably. And their storylines are going to be very closely tied together in episode 9. And I can't wait to see how it plays out.
It had huge implications for 8. I mean, that's what Snoke called him out for. He's like, listen, man. You know, Kylo tried to be like, hey, but I killed my dad. He's like, yeah, you did, but it fucked you up so bad you almost got killed by an amateur.
Yeah,
like someone that never touched a lightsaber until that point.
Like she had only seen one for the first time yesterday.
Not even ignited it. She just touched it and it fucked her up so bad she ran away. And then a day later, she grabs it and beats a dude that's been trained in this his entire life.
Yeah. So,
and that's why people are so hung up on, oh, she has to be a Skywalker. Well, no, she doesn't. If you watch the movie and you actually buy into it, no, she doesn't.
She doesn't have to be anything.
And Snoke said it himself. He says it in the throne room. He's like, I thought because Kylo was rising in the dark, just as Vader, I knew the light would, and I just figured it'd be his uncle. And lo and behold, it's fucking you. He says that.
Yep.
I mean, it's out there. It's plain as day. The Force can do whatever the fuck it wants. The Skywalkers are not the Force.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, just look at, the prequel trilogy. There were famous, super powerful Jedi before Anakin Skywalker was even born. So,
you know what I mean, man. There's just people get hung up on this, like, oh, dude, if Rey's not related to one of the famous Jedis we know, then what the fuck? How could she ever do any of that shit? It's like, come on. First off, we're talking about fucking fake shit. Like, that's the fucking first thing to realize.
Yeah.
Once you can get over that, I mean, just have fun with it. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi was just as powerful as Anakin.
He beat fucking Anakin. Come on, people. I mean, you want to talk about, the Skywalkers are the most... Obi-Wan fucking Kenobi beat the most powerful Jedi. I mean, a Jedi that was conceived of the goddamn Force. He beat his ass.
I don't get it.
The only reason he didn't fucking kill him is because he pussed out.
Yeah, all he needed to do was really just like a tiny little force push right into the lava.
Oh, that would have been great.
That was
if he was just like, whoosh.
just a little
But no, dude, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just thinking about it. It's like, man, why do people like think this? I mean, yeah, the Skywalkers are fucking crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Obi-Wan Kenobi literally housed the strongest Jedi pretty much of all time up until that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was, if you watch the fight, it's an extended fight. He
said, dude, if you do this, I'm going to essentially kill you.
Yeah.
That's how good he was.
Literally called it out. He's like, don't be an idiot. Like, look, I'm the guy who trained you, and I'm telling you not to do this. Like, don't do it. I know what's gonna happen. You're gonna jump over me. I'm gonna cut your legs off. That's what's gonna happen.
Fantastic.
And it happened.
I honestly don't even remember how we got here because we were talking about Kylo, but I guess it all kind of ties together because he loves Anakin. So whatever.
He does, but. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this ultimate
what the hell?
point is.
What do you think that means? I mean,
it's got to be his destiny, like his whatever
course,
his thing is.
Okay, so I know we've tried to figure this out pretty much every cast since we've switched over to Star Wars time.
I mean,
does he end up good or dead? I mean, like I said, I think it's either good or dead. I don't think he remains bad.
There could be two things here. So, that's where it has been headed for, where it has been in my head for a long time, and things were building towards that. I mean, does it mean his motivation, like Kylo's motivation? Kylo's motivation is to be what, as good as his grandfather, right? What we can tell. Well, he's there already. So he's achieved that. So what is his motivation now? That's what's the most interesting thing to me, is what does he have left to work for?
I mean, my guess would be Rey.
Yeah,
to eliminate her. Or
either eliminate her
or have
pull her to the dark.
Right, or have the Vader Luke obsession.
Yeah, because it's just...
I'm telling you, man, it's so set up for redemption and death, or he makes a full switch to the good to fight off another evil force. I don't see any other way.
Yeah,
I just don't. At this point, I just don't.
I think that's your two options, and I think either one of them it could be good depending on what the antagonizing force is.
Both would be fine. I mean, if he has to go good to take on this other big bad force, and it's going to extend it in, they're going to be like, hey, surprise, guess what? That's what Ryan's next 3 movies are, or that's what DB's and Homeboy's movies are. I'd be like, yeah, fucking A!
Yeah. I mean, like, the only thing that I don't want to see, and please God, I don't want to see this, it is a Palpatine clone, because... No. I mean, like, literal clone...
No.
Yeah, because that was one of the storylines in the old EU, is that there were clone emperors. Anyway, I don't want to see that. Like, I just don't know. Like, we talked about it a little bit on the last official Star Wars Timecast, and that was this Hux rumor. And we had talked about it before that, too. This Hux rumor that Hux somehow overthrows Kylo to take over the First Order. And the thing with that is that Kylo is linked to the First Order because he feels like that is what he's meant to do, and that is the people that he has surrounded himself with. Like, that's his family, essentially.
Yeah, he's a dopey idiot just like his grandfather. I mean, they're both so dumb and weak and just want to do it the easy way to become powerful that they're like, okay, I'll just align myself with these essentially Nazis.
So it's sycophants. Like, he surrounds himself by a bunch of people who are in love with Kylo, with his power, and they just want to impose themselves on everyone, so they just do what they want them to do. I mean, they want to be, fascist dictators. So the other thing here is that I could see the entire First Order turning on him being enough to switch him, because it would rattle his head loose. He'd be like, holy fuck, like, I dedicated myself to this cause, to the First Order, to the dark side, to running the galaxy, and then at the drop of a hat, everything that I worked for, everybody that was supposed to be loyal to me, turned up.
Okay, here we go. Ready for idea payments, people?
Here we go.
Okay. So what if, as we've speculated at times, Hux does play double agent, so he is feeding stuff to the Resistance. They're getting cozy. And he's doing it all with the intentions of kind of getting Kylo ensnared in something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then once he gets there, the big confrontation's going down. Kylo figures out that he's a double agent, but at that time Hux reveals that, you know what, I really don't want to be Resistance. I just wanted you to get fucked over, and I'm gonna blow away your mom. And he's like, bah! And Hux wastes Leia, and that's the motivating factor.
Oh man!
On top of the betrayal of him essentially playing him to get him into that spot.
Yeah. That would be heavy, dude. Because, I mean, as much as we know,
he couldn't do it in 8. He's got something for mommy.
Yeah, I mean, he had the shot, and he didn't seem to react too much when the other fighters came and blew that thing away, but you also know that he still feels her in the Force.
Yes, I agree, but I also think he was comforted in the fact that he didn't have to do it.
Yeah, but if somebody like Hux like blows her away
Yeah, right in front
as
of
a
him.
way, yeah,
Like antagonizing him, like, yo.
yeah, then that would, yeah, I think that could be an
Like
instigating
Hux is all
factor.
still like buddy resistance, like, oh yeah, Kylo, blah blah blah, and then he's like, yeah, whatever, blah.
And that's like, that's a shame. That's the real shame for this movie, because that storyline, that Leia Kylo storyline, was gonna be so good.
Oh yeah, I mean that was going to be the main deal. I mean, I didn't
That
know.
was,
I mean, who knows if it was going to be an actual like showdown where he kills her, which that
well,
probably
that was your full emotional tie.
right.
Like
That's
that was it.
yeah. Yeah, he probably was gonna waste her. I mean, I don't think any of the OGs were ever planned to make it out of the trilogy.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, aside from Chewie and R2 and 3PO.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, you definitely
Yeah.
can keep them going, but not the humans.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I really like episode 9. Fucking,
It's everything,
18th
man,
word-
dude. It's
11
gonna be
months.
everything. I mean, I'll
exactly 12 months.
I'll stand by it. I mean, Return of the Jedi is definitely my favorite, even with all these repetitive viewings. I mean, it's the one that I'm just like, all right. I still respect Empire, but when I watched it as a kid, I just didn't like it. It was not. It pissed me off.
Yeah.
It angered
Pissed
me.
off a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't like watching people lose and basically walk away losing. It's a whole big fuck off to the good guys.
Yeah, it was. It was the ultimate fuck off to the good guys. Like, literally, the good guys just get wasted at every turn.
Yeah, and I still contend the best moment in all of the Skywalker saga is Vader's redemption. I mean,
yeah,
it really not even. I'm not even gonna say the whole fight between him and Luke. It's when Luke is hiding in the shadows, and Vader finally prods from him that he has a sister. And that's when Luke slips, lets the dark side in, and beats the shit out of his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, beats him so bad that he cuts his arm off and realizes I'm becoming him just like in the goddamn cave.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna learn from that and fuck off Palpatine. And then obviously the torture, Vader going duty. Oh shit, fuck this. No. There we go. I mean, come on. Even with the no, it's the most beautiful moment in the fucking Skywalker saga.
Yeah, not even close. Not even close. So,
anyways, we'll get there. I mean, again, we always have time for a specialty cast. I mean, we might have to start doing them one-off instead of saving them for Fridays, because I just the way news is coming in anymore, man. I mean, we pretty much have guaranteed Star Wars proper content every week now, so we may have to start firing up some from specials, even though we're doing the Resistance recap. But hey, that's what we do here at StarWarsTime.net.
I think for sure I'll put this as a take it to the bank for 2020, or maybe right at the end of 2019. We will be doing a top 10 moments from the Skywalker saga podcast after episode 9 is released.
Oh yeah, we might have to do like a video form of that somehow. So
yeah, like maybe just
I'll do like a video companion, and then we'll talk about it. But definitely, definitely,
that's happening. So we hit everything for this week. This week was pretty heavy, like we said. It wasn't a lot of big stuff, but it was a lot of stuff. So
it was good stuff. I had fun tonight. I don't know if you did, and I don't know if anyone listening, if you're having fun now. Hopefully you did. I mean, that's the whole point of this. But I enjoyed myself for one reason or another. It's just there was a lot of fun topics to talk about. So
yeah. This was a good one. So stick around for the next one, everybody. We will be doing our Resistance recap again this week, so you can expect that around Monday or Tuesday. If you're listening to this, it might be out already by the time you're listening, but we will be hitting up Resistance recap again after the latest episode drops on Sunday.
You got it, buddy, and I already forget the title, but we definitely have a preview clip of it on StarWarsTime.net, so check that out. And as also, please, people, you know what to do at this point in time. If you're new to this, or even if you're old and you might know someone that is interested, make sure to let them know. StarWarsTime.net, top right, hit subscribe to podcast page. That's where you can hit us on all the platforms we're available. But, we'd love you to just come back and check out the website every day, too. Plus our YouTube channel. We're all over the place. Instagram. You name it. Hook us up. Come on, people. Love us. We appreciate you. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Always.